Hey there, class in San Antonio, Texas. I hope your spring break was good and that you had a restful time. This week we're highlighting the intern Steph. So I'm going to let Steph tell you a little bit about herself, where she's from, what she's studying, etc. Go forward, Steph.
Okay, hello, I'm Stephanie Groscher. I was born in Swakopmund, Namibia, but I grew up in Johannesburg and also went to school there. I studied at the University of Witwatersrand for a year before coming down to study at Stellenbosch, and I'm currently busy studying accounting and law here. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Steph. As an intern here in Listen, Live, and Learn, what do you kind of view your role to be?
Well, I've lived in Listen, Live and Learn for 2 years before becoming an intern, so this is my third year in the program. And my role as an intern, I guess, is sort of to assist the houses that I'm an intern of and to sort of help them just to bond if they have any problems that basically they can approach me and I can see if I can help them mediate through a problem, but also to just help them come up with ideas of house guests that they can host or projects that they can run. And another thing that I do as an intern is I'm linked with the international office. So I like to integrate international students more with local students. So some of the things that we're doing is, for example, we hosted a bride 2 days ago in the Listen, Live and Learn village. So we had about 50 international students join us in the village for a braai, and it was quite a nice evening. And also we have the different houses just host dinners and invite 4 to 5 international students so they can just get to know one another.
Way cool. If you guys don't know what a braai is, it's like a barbecue. But it's better than a barbecue. That's the only way I can explain it. Can you just expand kind of your experience, your past 2 years in Listen, Live, and Learn? Kind of like positives, negatives, that kind of stuff.
Well, the first year that I lived in Listen, Live and Learn, the interview process was very different to the current one. So we were specifically interviewed to live in a house. So it's not like you were interviewed and then just applied for a theme afterwards, but you specifically applied for a theme and then were interviewed for that theme. So in my first year, I lived in the leadership house, and that was a very interesting experience because I was living with 8 other students who were all involved in leadership on campus in some way. And obviously, that means living with a lot of very strong personalities, which meant that we had some clashes on occasion. Also, people were very busy, so it was very difficult to get together as a house very often. And dishes was a big problem. Dishes typically seems to be one of the biggest problems in the houses, as some people are still under the impression that it's not their duty to wash dishes or just keep the kitchen clean, and that can be very difficult for other people to sort of deal with. Um, and then last year we had a different system in which we were chosen to live in the houses, and I lived with 4 boys and a girl who only very seldomly stayed in the house with us. So it was a very interesting experience to just have boys to stay with, and then sort of to confide in as well, because obviously those are the people that you're dealing with on a daily basis. But it was a very good experience as well. It was very interesting because they were quite laid back as opposed to sort of the people that I lived with the year before. Um, so it was quite nice to have sort of a contrasting experience from my first year. But to also see that in that case it was more difficult to do things together simply because people were more reserved, more introverted, rather than being excessively extroverted as it was in the first time.
And then just give us a quick snapshot of your experience so far this year in Triple L and living in the village and living partly in the village and partly in refugee conditions.
It's been an interesting year so far. Sharing a room with 2 other people, which is something I've never done before. I've never lived in a residence before, so I've always only had my own room. So suddenly having to share with other people and having to move and having acquired so much stuff over the past couple of years and having to move all of that from our first accommodation to the residence and then to our current residence was quite a mission. And yeah, it's a very nice environment that we're currently staying in. It's very nice to have a lot of people around. Unfortunately, it's not very study conducive,
Yeah.
but I think it's something that's very nice to experience in a university, just having very different people and different characters that are constantly around. So
Cool.
it's good.
Thanks, Steph. I'll see you guys later.